So Rob Katherman is incumbent board member candidate for the Water Replenishment District, Division 2. He was elected to the board in 2004 and is chair of the Water Resources Committee and member of the Groundwater Quality Committee. Rob is endorsed by the Los Angeles County Democratic Party. He's endorsed by State Senator Ben Allen, LA Supervisor Janice Hahn, the LA Times, and many others, including our own West Basin Director, Harold Williams, who is also on this meeting. Please welcome Rob Katherman.
Thank you, Ann. And Harold, thank you for your endorsement, brother. I appreciate it. So it's very difficult to follow that movie and how gut-wrenching it is, but let me try to be brief about what the WRD does. First, a little background about myself. I'm actually educated as an environmental engineer, have a master's in water treatment from Long Beach State, and was on the Torrance Water Commission for 7 years and got to meet some of the founding members of the original effort to create the West Basin Municipal Water District to bring imported water to the South Bay when our groundwater was being contaminated by seawater intrusion. So suffice to say, I'm very proud to be part of the WRD team that we provide safe and clean groundwater for 4 million people in our 420 square mile area. So Mother Nature basically provides about half of our groundwater replenishment, and our job is to provide the other half of groundwater replenishment. And that groundwater provides half of our drinking water for the 4 million people in our service area. 15 years ago, we recognized that our stormwater was becoming more inconsistent and was gradually decreasing over years, and that climate change was having an adverse effect on our water supply. So we adopted what we refer to as our Water Independence Now program, which is a series of projects with the goal of keeping our water rates low, but more importantly, to get off of imported water, which is becoming increasingly less reliable because of climate change. So we've partnered with West Basin Municipal Water District to purchase recycled water from them to put into the barrier. Our West Coast barrier now is 100% free of imported water. It's all advanced treated reclaimed water. We've also partnered with the City of Los Angeles Bureau of Sanitation, where we are purchasing water from them from the Terminal Island treatment plant to put into the Dominguez Gap barriers to the north side of the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. And then last year, we completed our advanced water treatment plant in the city of Pico Rivera. And that plant provides about 20 million gallons a day of advanced treated recycled water. And we put that into the nearby spreading grounds. And that has gotten us to be completely independent of imported water for our water replenishment now. So we're very proud of that. But what we're looking at now is we've created a 2040 plan, which we call Wind for All, a play on our wind project. And what we're looking at is the key to a sustainable drought-tolerant future for all of us, for all of our drinking water, really lies under our feet. Our groundwater basins here in the west and central coast can accommodate almost 500,000 acre feet of additional water that is a result of overdraft of our basins years ago. So our goal in the next 2 decades is to look at develop a regional strategy where we use our experience in wastewater recycling and set the stage for projects partnering with the LA County Sanitation District and Los Angeles Bureau of Sanitation and Water and Power with water from the Hyperion plant. The two of those plants, incidentally, dump about 350 million gallons of water, highly treated water, into the ocean every single day. So we want to partner with those agencies to further treat that sewage, recycle it, put it into our groundwater, and use that for our local drinking supply. More immediately today, part of our Win for All program, we're planning a brackish water, a desalting plant in the city of Torrance, an inland ocean water treatment plant, but we're not treating ocean water, we're treating groundwater. And that brackish water is a result of seawater intrusion back at the basically the first half century of the 20th century. And that plant will produce 20 million gallons a day of fresh water that will go directly into the water providers in the South Bay to eliminate the need for an equal amount of imported water. This will also clean up our aquifers and enable us to store an additional 600,000 acre feet of locally sustainable water in the area. So that's kind of it. We produced last year a 60-year history of WRD. If anyone is interested in getting a copy, I can email it to you. My email is real simple, rob.katherman@icloud.com.
Rob, why don't you just send that to us, and we can put a link for it or post it on our website.
I'd love to.
Okay.
Yeah.
And,
all right. So,
and this is Connie. Can I ask him a question?
well, we had several questions. So did you want to go first?
I put it in the chat too, but I didn't know if you were going to go around to questions.
Yeah, I was going to go through the questions on chat, but you're welcome to ask your question.
So I'm from San Antonio and I visit there often, and in their newspaper, they carry a daily report about the level of the Edwards Aquifer. Because I think it was back in the 90s, some guy started a catfish farm and he depleted the aquifer like 25% really fast, and people got very alarmed. And of course things have gotten drier in Texas, and so every day everybody knows the level of the aquifer, and I feel like they feel more invested in keeping it up high enough. And I don't know why we don't do reports on that. I have to hear you tell me that there's more room in the groundwater capacity. I have to come to a special meeting to hear that. So that's my question.
Well, we should do a better job of educating people. I certainly agree. The problem is if there's water coming out of your tap, people lose interest, unfortunately. You can go to our website and get the information, but that requires some effort and some digging. But I think that's a very good suggestion. Let's see what we can do to make everyone understand what our groundwater situation is today, and hopefully it will be better in the future.
I hope so. And then a common question is about desalinization. So, in the effort that you're doing, it sounds like there will be enough water that you could put back into the earth that we can then reuse, but there's also this push to build a desalinization plant. And what is your position on that?
Yeah, with all due respect to my colleague, Harold, we are doing a project that we consider to be the low-hanging fruit. Our groundwater aquifers have salt anywhere from 500 to 5,000 parts per million. Ocean water is 30 to 35,000 parts per million. And the energy that it takes and the cost that it takes to clean the water is directly proportional to the amount of dissolved solids or salt that's in the water. So we don't have to worry about the environmental damage as a result of inland saline treatment or brackish water treatment and reclamation. So we feel very comfortable moving forward with our project. The West Basin, they need to make their decision about what they're going to do with their project.
And what is the timeline for your project?
We hope to finish our environmental documents and get site selection in the next 6 months. We've gotten letters of interest from all of the local water agencies to take the water and pay for the water. So that's certainly a good thing. And so now it's a matter of finding a site and doing the environmental documentation on that site. We've got a couple in mind. One is the Torrance Transit Center on Crenshaw Boulevard, and another one is an old water facility in Torrance nearby. So we're hopefully going to pick a site in the next few months with the permission of the Torrance City Council and the neighborhood, and then move forward with plans to build the plant, which will take us a couple of years to finish.
David, you have a question? David Hall?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I'm wondering to what extent you're addressing the problem of the forever chemicals that are abbreviated PFAS.
PFAS, huh?
Yeah, and their recommended levels are like 1 part per trillion.
A few parts per trillion, absolutely, yes. When I started in school 50 years ago, we were measuring things in parts per million. A couple decades later, it's parts per billion. Now it's parts per trillion. We are creating a fund through our bond sales and working with both state and federal agencies to get loans to provide free, interest-free money to pumpers to clean up the PFAS, which can be done by granulated activated carbon or by ion exchange. So we know that we have the technology, we know what to do. Most of the contamination is located in the Montebello forebay up in the northeast part of our district. There is no PFAS contamination here in the South Bay, at least as of yet. But we have monitoring wells throughout our service area, 300 of them as a matter of fact, and we test constantly each and every month for over 100 chemicals, including PFAS.
Okay, we have one more question, then we have to move on. So in terms of what you said about desalinization, with your plan and the plan for that the water basin is pushing for desalinization, what do you think is the difference in cost? We know environmentalists, progressives are against the desalinization, but what do you think is the difference in cost?
Yeah, again, because ocean water has more dissolved solids, it's more expensive. The plant down in Carlsbad that San Diego runs, cost is about $2,500 an acre foot. Cost for our brackish water treatment will be about half that much.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Any last comment you would like to make on your candidacy and your opponents? Or
no, I appreciate the time. I certainly would be honored to get your votes, and I'm going to do this one more term, and that will be it for me. So my goal is to get our brackish water plant up and running in Torrance, and then pass the baton to the next director and staff to, over the next 20 years, make ourselves completely independent of imported water here in Southern California.
That is terrific. And in the future, we will have some meetings on climate change and the drought. And so we welcome you back.
Yeah, thank you. Keep me involved, and I'll send you the information. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All
right.
Thanks, everybody.